Hello guys, it's Deepak here. Hope you guys are doing good. We just had a new boiler installed a month or so ago, and as usual, the dimensions of each boiler is different. So the one we had before was slightly wider, went until there. So what I want to do with this boiler, because it's about a few inches shorter, I want to create a box to cover this piping mess, including up there as well. So what I've done, I've used chipwood, nothing fancy, everything's from the skip or off-cut pieces. I've drilled in pieces of timber here and also here to provide support for the boxes. So in terms of the boxes, this is what I'm using. Chipwood, I've cut it to size, and as you can see, I've added a few support panels onto it. So this is the left side and that is the right side, and also we have the main box, which is here. So that will be covering this side of it. So I'll show you what I mean. Okay guys, so this is the left side panel, and that will be going like this. So then what I'll do is I'll drill 2 screws into this timber, and it will go into this support that I've drilled into the wall, if that makes sense. Yeah, so 2 screws that will be placed like this. Imagine this is fastened, and this one is the right piece. And what I've done here, again, I've added timber to it, and it will go here. So the screws will be going into that piece of wood like so. Yeah, and this piece here, these 2 pieces, what I'll be doing is I'll be drilling 2 screws to hold the main panel, which is this here. So just imagine this is all drilled in and it's all good. What I'll do is it'll be like that. And I'll drill 2 holes so it'll be firmly in place. And if I need to do any maintenance on the boiler work, or if we have a gas safe engineer coming down to do any maintenance work, all you have to do is undo the 2 screws. They're not going to be tight, they're going to be semi-tight. Undo the 2 screws, and yeah, they can carry out any maintenance work. And those 2 screws, they'll go into these 2 pieces of timber. Okay, because chipwood is pretty raw, it's not solid wood. So if we're going to be removing and screwing them in a couple of times a year, it's not going to do great. It'll eat away on the chipwood. So that's why I've got solid timber here. Hope that makes sense, guys. So here's a different angle. This is how it's going to look. I haven't done anything yet, but it's just for your information. And also what I've done is I've added edging to the chipwood. Just gives it that extra protection, especially at the bottom where I'm terrible with washing dishes and it always splashes underneath here. So I've added PVA glue onto the chipwood, and then I've added the edging tool, sorry, the edging tape. And here's an example of the edging tape, widely available. Yeah, I ran out of we ran out of brown, which is typically this one here. Yeah, so I then used the white one, and you know what, we're just covering the piping work, so it's not bad. It looks pretty decent, right? I'm not going to paint over it, it just looks nice. So I use an iron. Yeah, imagine this was bare. So basically I use, if I can get focused, come on, focus, 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 focus. There we go. So I use an iron, maximum setting, and I basically iron it, and then sand it down, and it looks nice. Look at the finishing. It looks pretty decent. It's good. I'm happy with the results here. Hard work though. Okay, so here's the top. This will be the top of the main panel, and I want a screw here and here. So let's drill a hole. All right, underneath it, I've got a piece of off-cut timber, so I don't drill through the workbench. That makes sense. Okay, I've already marked the areas. The workbench, guys, old milk crates. Remember milk crates back in the 70s and 80s? Look at them, we still have them. They do a wonder job. Solid plastic, not stuff that we get these days. I'll be using these screws, nothing fancy. It's from Screwfix, and I just found these 2 cups. So you'll give it a nice finish, actually, nice brass finish. So let's crack on. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to drill a small hole so I know where the screws go in. So I'll use the main panel as a template. Just make sure everything's nice and even and level. Okay, great. So this is what I mean. Let me take this out. There we go. Oh. Okay. So here's the hole. You know what? It's not even in the middle. I'm not too fussed. I'm not too fussed at all. And here, this is much better. Yeah, it's still enough gap for the screw to go into, which is fine. It's not a problem. All right, let's do this. So I'm just going to use these 2 screws, fasten in place. What I also like to do, guys, is because it's going to be on the worktop, I like to put a little bit of silicone sealant. As I said, I'm not a great washer of dishes, and the water just splashes everywhere. The sink that we have here is pretty small, so what I do is I put a little bit of sealant just underneath. Yeah, just underneath here. Not too much. Okay, so that's good. So I need a little bit of sealant. Go. It's good enough. Line it all up. Oh, can you guys see? There we go. Down a little bit more. Oh, that's fine. All right, let's screw them in. Again, it's not going to be super tight. decent. These side panels will never come off anyway. There's no need to, unless we've got a problem with the piping work. But yeah, you can pretty much get our hands underneath and underneath the worktop, and also under the boiler as well. I'll tighten these two up a little bit later on. Let's get this panel aligned up. Okay, it is looking good, I think. There we go. Here's a bit of a close-up. I'll tighten these a little bit later on. It's pretty firm. And again, here, pretty good. See this edging tape? I ran out of the brown one, so I used the white. But you know what? Who cares? This main board will be covering it. So let's take it up here and zoom out a little bit. There we go. Okay. Actually, I've got the white tape here as well. Okay, I think it's looking good. Let's see. Now, let's pop these screws in. And as I said before, so that hole will go into this piece of timber here. Okay.
Right. The reason why I'm using these cups is because I want to protect the chipboard, and also it gives a nice finish as well. I found them.
There's always bits and pieces that you find in the skip. And you find them from the streets. There's no harm in asking. You know, there's things that are going to waste, going to the bin. Let me tighten this up. Just semi-tight. Doesn't need to be solid tight. Just semi-tight, guys. It doesn't need to be super locked into place. And there we have it. A box under the boiler. And what I'll do is with these marks, I'll give this box a nice little clean. I think the old girl will be happy. I'll do here, I'll use white, what do you call it? Silicon mastic. So it's nice, gives it a good finish. What I'll do here, I'll use white silicon mastic, decorating mastic. Just gives a nice finish. And this side, yeah, the next step now is from all the way up there to the ceiling to here. I'll create another box, but that's for another day. I already have the materials, which are here. Let me show you. Here we go. So these are the off-cut pieces I'll be using to make the box, from all the way there to the ceiling to the worktop. And yeah, these are the off-cut pieces from the loft. We've kept these for many years. We made wardrobes out of these. And these are the pieces that we thought, you know what, it will come in handy. And after, I think, 15 years, believe it or not, it's being utilized here at our home. All right, guys. So, for example, if I want to add an edge to this piece of wood chip, what I do is get the strip, and if I want to tape it on here, it already has adhesive, but it needs to be heated up. Yeah, so it's a good size. We really have to be careful with the iron though. Okay, just slowly, watch your fingers. Just slowly work your way across the edge. Turn it around. And that's it, guys. Done. The next step is to do the finishing. But we have to do that after it cools down. Use a bit of rag, cotton cloth, push it down a little bit. Make sure all the glue has firmly stuck onto the chipwood. And here it just snaps off. Okay. So let's give it a couple of minutes, and then I'll show you how I smooth it out. Okay, guys, so it's been a few minutes and it has cooled down, and you can see that. Probably 1/2 mil out, this tape. So we need to sand it down a little bit. So let's do that. Just make sure it's not too rough, the sandpaper. And you go, so if I want to sand, I don't sand away, I sand in to the piece of wood. So towards myself. Done. So this is how I did it. Can you see that? A bit to do here, but just to give you an idea. Okay, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video of how I created this fancy box out of chipwood. Took many days, but for you guys, I think it was only 7-8 minutes, right? Yeah. Take it easy. Stay safe. Don't be afraid to do DIY yourself. If you make any mistakes, keep going. That's how you learn. All the best. Okay, guys, so it's been a few weeks and I finally had the time to create the top panel for that section there, which is this one. Got 3 holes, so it screws into the batten, which is there, 1, 2, 3, and it's nicely in place, and it'll sit on top of this panel here, so it'll be nice and flush. Finally done. There we go. Yeah. Right, you know what the wife's gonna say, right? Oh, why is that panel slightly different color to these two? Well, I really can't help that. This is all off-cut pieces. Couldn't find that shade of off-cut. So other alternative is going to be sort of spray painting it, maybe white or a grey type color. But you know what? That's going to probably be next year or a few years time. So I'll just find an excuse. But thanks for watching, guys. Hope this video has been useful. Oh, I need to sort out that little patch there, as you can see. See that little patch? Put a bit of wallpaper on there, give it a nice little paint. Done. All right, take it easy, bye.